Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue our top 100 favorite movies ever. This is part 4. We've got the 60s in that top 100, 60 through 69. Nice. And I am so very excited. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Like I said, today is part 4. If you are jumping in with us for the first time, in a top 100, the 60s seem like a goofy place to just go ahead and jump on in. I don't know, man. How about you head back on to the part 1 and 2 and 3 where you get the full fucking thing. But regardless, if this is where you're going to join us for the first time, I'll go ahead and tell you, this is a top 100 favorites, not a top 100 best movies ever. Neither me or Joe are capable of creating such a list, as film is subjective. We will treat it as such. And we're going to talk about the things we love, not the things that we say are the best movies of all time. And I think that's important going into my episode today. I've got some films that pretty universally, I've got a couple that would probably head towards the top of the list as far as American cinema's greatest is concerned. I've got a couple, but that's just kind of how it worked out for me. I did this at the beginning of last episode. I wanted to give some respect to a few things that I've watched since we started this project for the first time that almost certainly would have made my top 100. And this time I only have one, maybe two, but I'll give respect to both. I've got Synecdoche, New York, directed by Charlie Kaufman, starring Philip Seymour Hoffman, which would have found itself quite high on my top 100 had I watched it before we started this. But now, next time we do this, Synecdoche, New York will be quite high on my list. An astonishingly good, hauntingly beautiful, and devastating movie. I was floored. So that's one. And then The Graduate from 1967, directed by Mike Nichols, introducing us to Dustin Hoffman and the musical works of Simon and Garfunkel. That's the movie that gave us Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend.
Really?
I've come to talk with you again. Yeah.
Hey. Wow.
Yeah. It's an entirely Simon and Garfunkel soundtrack that they made for that movie. And it's kind of what launched them into the stratosphere. So, The Graduate. Very, very good comedy that's also a little sad. So, love. That's a perfect vein, a good comedy that's also a little sad. That's a good place to be. But you got any first watches?
No, I haven't. Didn't have any. I really didn't watch any movies really at all from the last time we recorded.
Can't knock it. Can't knock it. They're in. How about you get us started at our 69? All
right, 69. I did have a little shuffling around, but this feels right. And starting off, kind of a dad movie-ish a little bit, but it is 2006's The Da Vinci Code, directed by, who is it here? I have IMDb. Ron Howard.
I love me some Ron Howard.
And I remember my dad, he never reads whatsoever, but this was one book that he actually just really liked and read a lot. And then the movie, I just remember watching while I was young and just being I love mysteries. It's probably why Scooby-Doo is just one of the greatest movies of all time. That's all they do is mysteries. But but like just the slow piecing the puzzles together over the span of a movie and then coming to like a big twist at the end that changes it all, that they weren't even right to begin with or something like that. But another Tom Hanks movie here. Just gotta love Tom Hanks and yeah, wow. Paul Bettany's in here. Alfred Molina's in here.
Yeah,
Ian McKellen's in here. What the?
Quite
Okay,
the
wow. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm like,
for a revisit.
yeah,
huh?
whoa. Yeah, I was gonna say because it has been a little bit since I have watched it.
This is another one on your list that I've actually never watched. I've never seen the Da Vinci Code. I've heard endless good things, and interestingly enough, you've got a Ron Howard movie at your 69 to start off this episode. I ended last episode with a Ron Howard movie at my 70 with Willow. So a couple Ron Howards there back to back for us. So I love that. But yeah, the Da Vinci Code, that's one that I've never had the pleasure of viewing. Is that 2006?
It's
Tom
nothing
Hanks.
like it's nothing that'll blow you away. It's more of just like the and it has like a little religious background to it. I guess a little bit. But it's mainly just like kind of if National Treasure was just a little bit taken more seriously. If I had like
mature.
Yeah, that's kind of I'd say the closest comparison I can make is just like a more mature National Treasure. And yeah, I mean it's just a really, really nice mystery, and Tom Hanks just, I don't know. And let's see, who's the lead actress?
I love Tom Hanks.
Audrey Tautou? I don't know. She's probably French. She's French in the movie.
Yep.
Tautou. Yeah, I'm probably
Audrey Tautou
in that. But I don't know. It's just a real fun.
Sure she was the lead in Amelie. Yeah, pretty iconic French film there.
Yeah, I know. Ian McKellen. What? Oh, that's right. He's the rich dude. That okay. Now,
looks like
and
Paul
Alfred
Bettany
Molina
might be the villainous entity, if I had to guess from this poster.
That's Paul Bettany. Oh my God! Wow,
It's the only guy in the cast I could imagine it being.
Holy crap! There's a few villainous entities in this one, actually. But yeah, he is.
Jean Reno, Mission Impossible, Leon the Professional. Yeah, that's got quite the fucking cast on it. This is
okay. Yeah, I didn't really realize that until I'm just looking at the IMDb here. But it's again, it's nothing like incredible. Like it's not like one of the best movies ever made, that's for sure. But it's just like there's these little puzzle boxes and stuff that they have to solve. Like they're thinking one of them was from Da Vinci or something. Just like the Renaissance era. And it's all this like old artifacts and going through like religious texts and like it's kind of like National Treasure, but if it wasn't the founding fathers, it's like the Renaissance men and like the kind of religious texts and stuff like that.
The foundations of Christianity.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And again, I'm not a big religious guy, but the mystery in its just in its own right is really intriguing and really fun.
I found that I'm not a very religious person either. Like at all, but I found that there are a lot of religious stories that tend to resonate with me. And this is more the vein in which that would be the case, where it's not necessarily like, oh, well, we should all fall in this little sect. No, just exploring the themes and the mythos of these stories.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're the biggest stories ever told. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the most famous stories that have ever existed, religion. So, like, I'm fascinated by the sort of, the arcs those take. But, yeah, I'm a sucker for when a character, like, finds God. I don't know. It's not something that I've done. But like, I like whenever a character is like self-actualized under a higher power. They're like, you know what? This is my path. This is my life.
Wow. This has a different kind of finding God ending here. I won't spoil it because it's actually kind of cool. Like,
no, I mean, like, I plan on. This is going to be one of my favorite recommendations lists. Like once we get to the bottom, I'm gonna kind of look at your list, look for the ones I haven't watched, and try and watch those because. And the Da Vinci Code, it's going to be one of my first stops. It's one of those ones that I've heard of for years.
Yeah. And from a non-reader, my dad even says the book is better than the movie. and he hates books. So I guess
Gotcha.
that book must be pretty good. I tried to read it. I think I was in like middle school at the time, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm like, yeah, these words are way too big. I'm all right. I'll
God, who's the book by? I feel like that's a pretty old one.
Yeah, I remember it's.
Oh no, 2003 mystery thriller by Dan Brown. Okay.
Yeah, and then Angels and Demons, I think, is like the sequel, but I hear it's not up to the same level. I guess.
Also directed by Ron Howard. So
yeah. Oh, there's
all right.
Yeah, I've never seen the sequel movie, but
oh yeah, there's a sequel to the movie. Apparently, I mean, at least Ron Howard has an Angel and Demons movie under his belt, which I didn't assume was connected. Yep, stars Tom Hanks.
Yep.
Ewan McGregor, Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh, what do they got go? Man, they just got some casts for these movies, huh?
Ron Howard's a fascinating director. He's like got the juice, but like he consistently makes like enjoyable movies that might be good, but might not be, you know, like I had Willow, I had and
that's right where the Da Vinci Code falls. Yeah.
He did Rush, he did Apollo 13, he did A Beautiful Mind, he did How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Most famously he did Solo, A Star Wars Story. So he's got some goodies under his belt. He was the showrunner for Arrested Development. I don't know if you ever watched that.
Yeah, no, I haven't. But
good little sitcom there. But yeah, all right. On to my 69. I've got a Best Picture winner here. This is this won the Best Picture Oscar. It's Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, 2014, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu. This is a hell of a movie starring Michael Keaton, Emma Stone, Edward Norton, Zach Galifianakis, Naomi Watts, just a bunch of great fucking names. And this is the one when we were talking about 1917. I told you I have one that appears to be all in one take. This is that. It's just, it plays like a play, and that's kind of the premise of the movie. Is that Michael Keaton is playing this washed up actor who once played a superhero, who his most famous role was Birdman.
Okay.
Played by Michael Keaton. It's been several years since he played this superhero character, and now he's trying to be taken seriously again. So he's directing a play on Broadway. And he's starring in it, and that's what he thinks will get him back in the limelight. The man has severe mental health issues, and he hallucinates quite often Birdman, like, with him. Like, Birdman speaks to him and is like, "You're a fucking movie star. This isn't what you're built for. Get back to the other shit. Just go get some fucking money, man. Just keep doing that thing," you know? So like, it's extremely meta, considering Michael Keaton, most famously playing Batman, got to portray Birdman here. But it's one of those movies that's extremely funny. It's extremely sad. It's just kind of harrowing and kind of open to interpretation, which I always like. This is probably my favorite Michael Keaton role ever. He's brilliant in it. Emma Stone is so good, and Edward Norton. I'm a sucker for Ed Norton, and this is he plays a douchey, grade A actor on Broadway. So like he's like the shit. So he kind of comes in, he tries to take over the show and kind of run things, and it's like kind of the conflict between him and Michael Keaton is a really compelling one. But
wow.
No,
looking at some of these pictures here, he's like levitating.
Yeah, like he thinks he has superpowers, and it's unclear if he doesn't or does. You know, like it's like nobody ever acknowledges it. I think I'm of the mind that he does not have superpowers, and he's imagining he has superpowers. But but it's a good movie. It's got a kind of controversial history, as it's kind of divisive in that some people think it's way overrated and in no way deserved the Best Picture. It also, I think it won Best Director for Alejandro.
4 Oscars.
It's a great looking movie. It's fantastically performed. Emma Stone delivers like a powerhouse monologue. I've only watched it once, but I cannot wait to watch it a second time. It's one that in the shuffling around kind of fell, just because I've only seen it the once, and I've rewatched things since. So it was originally, I think, somewhere in my 30s, and as it just kind of like shuffled around, I was like, this is probably more honestly how I feel about it. But the quality of this movie, I don't think it's even in question. Like it's so fucking good. It's so good.
You said Picture of the Year, and then it also had directing, screenplay, and cinematography that it won as well.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton was nominated. Edward Norton was also nominated. Emma Stone was as well. And then sound mixing and sound editing were also nominated. So quite
incredibly well deserving. It's a fantastic, fantastic movie. And
Kansas City
as
Film
far
Critics
as like
Award, best film as well. So
deserved,
it's got to be good. Yeah.
It's a good fucking movie, and I strongly recommend everybody watch it. It's I think it's Michael Keaton at his best, you know, and he's the shit in it.
That is pretty cool. Like just the meta commentary of it alone, would be really cool. Like that is really, really interesting. And like, are there any like Batman references at all, or like was it just kind of like the whole?
No, I think Birdman is like the de facto.
Batman, like, so they wouldn't get sued.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's a lot of mentions where it's like you could come back for a Birdman 4. Just do Birdman 4. Just go ahead and do it. You know, it's easy money. And he's like, but I want to be an actor, you know, like I want to be remembered for something more meaningful. And he's like, no, fuck that. Like I love because it's basically his Batman voice that speaks to him as Birdman. So it's like, it's basically like, no, fuck all that. You're Batman, you know?
That's awesome. And kind of like Big Mouth. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but like the hormone monsters they have, just kind of like Michael Keaton's
extremely
hormone
similar
monster
function. That's a hilarious comparison that Birdman serves for Michael Keaton in that movie. But no, I love that movie, and it's disturbing, but it's great, and it's fun, and it's hilarious, but it's sad, and it's just kind of everything. So I really, really enjoy it. But yeah, Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
Yeah, that's an interesting title there.
And it's there's a reason for it, you know, like it's one of those movies where you know the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme where it's like there's a meme where it's like whenever a person in a movie says the title of the movie, and it's one of those where like someone says or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, and you're like, oh, I see. Yeah, so it comes around, and within context, it makes sense. But before you get into it, you're kind of like, what the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, it is a very interesting title there. But it makes sense now. Now that you've told me kind of what the movie's sort of about and stuff, it make a little bit of sense. But yeah, that one seems really cool. I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, I'm bolding, on the list, just in the Excel thing, I'm just bolding some of the ones that I think I'd find really, really cool.
I think you'd find that one extremely cool.
Yeah, and ones that I have to watch. But yeah, okay. Moving on, this is my first Wes Anderson movie that I have. And again,
yes,
one of them's just got to be at the bottom. I love all of his movies. I don't think I have a single like hatred towards any of his movies.
Oh no,
at all. But my bottom one ended up being Rushmore. 1998. And I hold it very close with another one. Like I have another Wes coming right up after. And like it just, I don't know. It like I liked it and it was very, very enjoyable. I just didn't enjoy it as much as his other movies, I guess.
Yeah.
And like it is hilarious, you know, like Bill Murray in there, like a few scenes that I'm just like blocking that kid, just absolutely swatting that shit.
That's
like,
hilarious, man.
Was so fun, like, and just like it is just a lot of situations.
She has like, some sort of thing you can't put your finger on, but then like he's like looking through a window, stalking her, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it is really funny, really good, and like, I mean, it is 68 on my, it made my top 100. I didn't have
And
many
by a good margin
but,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not near the bottom, and I mean, I later, even in just this episode, I have some pretty big movies here, that are coming up, but yeah, I don't know. It found its way at the bottom of my West ranking, I guess, but not too far from another one, but no, I loved it, and maybe just a rewatch would help it. It is, I think, another one that I have only seen one time. I think out of Wes's movies, the only ones I have seen once will probably be Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums. I think that might be it. I think I've seen every other one twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, I don't know, maybe a rewatch I'll fall in love with it a little bit more, and it could rise. But as of right now,
I love that movie, and you've got it higher than I did. But this will be the closest any Wes Anderson movies are on our list because I had it at, I think, 71.
Let's see,
72. I had it at 72. You have it at 68. So mathematically, it's literally impossible, I think, for. Well, we'll see later on, but
yeah, maybe near the top.
4 apart feels unlikely that we have anything closer than that.
Yeah, for a Wes movie, that's for sure. It'll be the closest, but maybe we'll line up with some other things further along the line. But yeah, as of right now, that is the bottom of my West list. But
hey,
yeah,
it is what it is. I love me some Rushmore. I've got a soft spot for that movie. I don't know what it was, but the first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, man, I like this one a lot. It's just so like it. I have little to no doubt that Wes Anderson's my favorite director of all time. Now that we've done all that for him, it's just so absurd to have his bottom 4 movies all be in my top 100. This man's made 11 movies.
Yeah.
Like that's
it.
I've
11.
got 11 of my top 100 is directed by the same guy. Like that's I just love the man. And Rushmore I've got a soft spot for. But yeah, all right, so 68 for you, 72 for me. Rushmore, I like that.
Yeah. There we
Is that the first repeat? Is that the first one that's appeared on both of our lists so far?
That might actually be true. Yeah, I think it is. I can't think of. We'll have another this episode actually, but
I think I've said some that you will have, and you've said some that I will have, but so far that's the first one that's been mentioned twice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll have a few this episode actually. Come up here, but yeah, we'll start that trend here this episode.
All right. Yeah, my 68. This is where I wanted to preface at the top of the episode the way I was like, hey. This is not the top 100 best movies of all time, because my 68 is pretty universally considered a greatest movie of all time as far as American pictures are concerned. This is favorites, and top 100 means I love that shit. I love the movie. So at my 68, this is where I have Citizen Kane, 1941, directed by Orson Welles, and starring Orson Welles. This was, obviously, this is one of those movies you've heard about for pretty much the entire time you can remember hearing about movies. I didn't watch it for the first time until earlier this year, and I'm glad I didn't. It's not one where, like, I see people be like, online where someone's like, now watching this for the first time, and people will like bag them, and it's like they had to have watched it for the first time at some point. You can't just know the movie. You have to watch the movie for the first time.
4 years old? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Citizen Kane. It's also a movie that I wouldn't like. I'm so thankful I didn't try to watch this earlier than I did.
Okay.
It's not like the themes are so incredibly mature that there's no way my 16, 17, 18-year-old brain wouldn't have got it. I just certainly wouldn't have appreciated it as much as I do now. Kind of a marvel in filmmaking. Orson Welles is a fantastic director, and this is the only Orson Welles movie I have on the list. But it's everything you've ever heard it is, It truly is one of the greatest movies that's ever been made.
Wow. Okay.
Just an epic story of the life of Charles Foster Kane, played by Orson Welles. just kind of a picture of greed and what money does to a person, and how power can warp you as a human. And no matter if you have the best intentions at heart, how once you become disconnected from reality in that way, you're fucked. There's just nothing you can do to get back to feeling normal again, unless you lose all that power and lose all that money. And Citizen Kane, I mean, it's a wonderful cautionary tale for the wealthy. And I think that, I mean, I can't say anything about this movie that hasn't already been said. Like I said, it's just over 80 years old now, 82 years old.
Yeah. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's certainly been discussed in those 82 years, as it's one that I heard about all my life, and I'm so thankful I finally watched it. If you're hesitant to dig into old movies, stop. For one, old movies rock. It's just like now, where there are old movies that are great and there are old movies that are bad. There are new movies that are great and new movies that are bad. So but this is one of those ones that's a near perfect film, and I can't recommend it highly enough. As you will find, pretty much every movie on this list from here on in I can't recommend it highly enough. And Citizen Kane, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So I've got Citizen Kane here at 68, which might be egregious to some, but it's a game of favorites. So,
well, I haven't seen it yet, but that is one that I already kind of had marked in my list, because I've been wanting to dive into old movies myself, and that's just, I've heard all about it. That's for sure. It's just one that I've just
It's probably the most famous movie of all time.
Wow.
I've heard of Citizen Kane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, moving on to 67, another Wes Anderson. And this is where I have 1966's Bottle Rocket.
1996's.
Oh, yes. That would have been kind of crazy if Wes was doing this
time
back
traveling.
then. Yeah. And Owen Wilson somehow anyway. But Rushmore and Bottle Rocket were kind of going back and forth of which one was like the bottom slot. And I'm like, man, I don't know. But I did go back to Bottle Rocket and I did watch it again on, I think maybe 3 times actually by now.
Right.
But definitely 2. And it's just a lot more fun of a movie, I think, than Rushmore. I just have a more enjoyable time, and just the, I don't know, kind of like stupidity of the whole movie. Like, it's just 3 stooges just kind of going around, just having fun and robbing a bookstore, so they can have a little bit of cash. They go out, the car breaks down. I don't know, like the whole just love story that's thrown in there too. It was just a really fun movie, and I'm glad we did circle back around to Wes's earlier movies, and we did get it before.
I am too. Incredibly thankful for that,
because I don't know. Even though it is still near the bottom of my list, I don't know. It is still a really, really fun movie, and it was almost at the bottom, but I gave it the little nudge above Rushmore for my personal ranking here. But I think this was Owen Wilson's first.
Yes,
was this Owen Wilson's first?
Owen Wilson's first acting credit, Wes Anderson's first directional credit.
Yeah.
Feature film wise. Probably Luke Wilson's first feature, I'd guess too. I actually just rewatched Anchorman last night for the first time in forever. And Luke Wilson plays a small role in that, where he gets his arm chopped off by a sword. And he's like, I did not see that coming. And then at 35 minutes later, 40 minutes later, his other arm gets eaten by a bear.
Oh, wow. Okay,
He's like, why does this keep happening? It's just so fucking stupid. But I just love that Luke Wilson and Owen Wilson's and Wes Anderson's career is started by this movie. It feels like such a perfect little time capsule for all those dudes. And I love that movie. So yeah, I know I had it quite a bit down. I think 99. So 32 spots separating it on our lists. But yeah, no, it's an incredible film, man. And Yeah. So at your 67, we got our
Mhm.
second
The
repeat.
second one, yeah, and
All
all.
right. I'm gonna keep
I'll
track
keep
of that.
track
I'm
of that.
interested
Yeah,
to see how many get some overlap. But
Yeah.
with that, on to my 67, where I'm heading to the oldies again. Another samurai film. I got a few of them on here. This is where I have Yojimbo, 1961, directed by Akira Kurosawa.
Mm.
And this is another one directed by Akira Kurosawa, starring Toshiro Mifune. And it's another one of those ones where it's the influence is palpable. You know,
Mm.
I always bring it to Star Wars whenever we talk Akira Kurosawa, simply because I love Star Wars with all my fucking heart. And to go back and watch these movies and see just how profoundly they influenced the likes of my favorite movie franchise of all time is always very, very fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Toshiro Mifune plays a nice drunken samurai in this one who's just he's kind of a fuck up, but he stumbles upon a village who needs help, and he's like, yeah, fine, man, I guess I'll hold it down. This is one where the villain entity travels and he comes back with a gun, which is like, yo, we don't fuck with that over here. We're samurai. Where's your fucking sword? And he's like, he's just shooting motherfuckers. So it's like
Damn.
something's got to be done about this guy.
That's unfair.
You know? Yeah, it's not. You bring a gun to a sword fight, you're probably going to win. The main character played by Toshiro Mifune, Sanjuro, is actually as a sequel I've never watched, titled Sanjuro. Which I'm very, very excited to watch at some point. This is one that I've only watched once that I desperately need to watch again. It was my first Akira Kurosawa movie, and it was a good place to start. I was happy with it. It's visually incredible, incredibly well performed. The direction, I can't overstate just how good Akira Kurosawa is.
Oh, was this? I'm just looking at the IMDb here, and it has like a little Mandalorian. Like, if you love the Mandalorian, watch this movie. And
It's the episode
Ahsoka,
of with Ahsoka comes in is exactly like beat for beat what this movie is.
Yeah, I remember like watching some videos whenever that episode came out, and it was like, yeah, this was so heavily inspired by.
It's shot for shot at points. It's the exact same.
Okay.
It's the exact same. It's brilliant. You know, I absolutely adore this movie. I thought that it's I think Toshiro Mifune is one of my favorite actors of all time, just based off of the little bit that I've seen him in. And what's funny is if you watch nothing but the samurai movies, you kind of start to think that Toshiro Mifune might not have much range, but then you watch Yojimbo and you watch Seven Samurai, and you watch this isn't on my list, but I just watched it recently, I Live in Fear, where he plays an old man who's fearful of, it's 50s Japan, and he's worried about the atomic bombs dropping again. That's
wow.
His whole,
okay.
And he's just got an incredible range that I feel like if you have a limited scope of the samurai films he did, you might not give him enough credit for it, but dude's brilliant. And working with Akira Kurosawa, he's going to do pretty damn good. But yeah, so that's what I got at my 67. Awesome. Yojimbo.
Yeah, Kurosawa is definitely going to be a director I check out whenever I'm going back and off of these. So, but yeah, okay. Moving on. No Wes here, different kind of take here. 66, I'm going with 2015's Creed, directed by Ryan Coogler?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, also directed Black Panther.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. This is kind of like a stand-in for all the Creed movies here. I don't have any other, like 2 or 3 on here. But I've seen all of them in theaters, actually. 1, 2, and 3, and it's kind of like our generation's Rocky. And I think, they definitely hold up. Honestly, like a lot of people are like, no, the Rocky movies are just so much better. Like they're so much better. And I'm like,
they're not.
You're just lying.
Creed's
just
the best movie in the Rocky franchise.
Yeah, like you're just lying to yourself. Like these movies are so much better. Like not just that they're more modern and like they look better necessarily. It's just like I don't know. I like the movies more. The Creed movies.
Yeah, I think there's only I think Rocky 4 and Rocky 2 are the only ones that give Creed a run for its money, and even then I think Creed like it's probably the best legacy sequel ever. You know?
Yeah, I mean, coming back like I don't know. They just did it so well. Like it's not like they were like Rocky. Like Sylvester Stallone was not carrying the movie at all. Like it was Michael B. Jordan, and like I don't know. I think like the stories that they tell every movie are really unique and really really good. And like every time I come out of that theater, I'm like, "Yep, I'm gonna start training. I'm gonna go to a gym."
Hype,
and like I've never wanted to fight ever in my life whatsoever, but like I'm just coming out of that theater is just a different feeling. Like you're just like,
oh man, I've got this at 108, so it's like right outside my top 100. You know, like I have, and Creed is my top Rocky franchise movie. I'd say it also has Sylvester Stallone's best performance in the franchise. You know, like I think that like Sylvester Stallone did a lot of great work in the Rocky movies, and it's what's obviously made Sylvester Stallone. But I don't think it's this trope that we saw with Harrison Ford and Dial of Destiny and Mark Hamill in The Last Jedi. Sylvester Stallone in Creed is like this hero who's past his prime, who's just kind of like he's trying to find a way to get back in. His life's falling apart. Everything's kind of not where it used to be, but he has this young apprentice who's going to get him back to the top and kind of make him feel like the shit again. And I absolutely love it. I'll never forget the entrance music whenever he comes into Hail Mary by Tupac, and he's like, "Come with me, Hail Mary, run quick, see."
The soundtracks for these movies are so good too. Like,
pretty sure Ludwig did the scores for these. Ludwig Göransson.
Okay, that makes sense then, because
close collaborator with Ryan Coogler again, Black Panther, and
man, because I just remember coming out of every theater like just. Immediately on the way home, we had the soundtrack on again. Like we were like just putting it on in the car, like just hyping ourselves up. And like
it fuels me, man. There's a Future song in one of the soundtracks called "Last Breath." That
my god, yes,
fucking melts me, bro. It's got the sample of the classic Rocky theme,
and it's like a man, I
got angels all around me, yeah. That shit goes crazy, man. That's one that's still in my rotation. I'm gonna fight it to the end, to my last breath.
I just shit goes crazy. Added that to the library because that would have been. I don't even think I had Spotify at the time. I still have to add so much of my music to my Spotify. Right. I know I'm lazy on that for some reason.
I am too.
But yeah, back when I had Apple Music, that was on there. I don't know. Those albums were on there. But yeah, I got that's what I had it. We're on 66. Yeah, Creed for me.
Right, fuck yeah. I've got the first movie on my list for one of my favorite actresses of all time here. At 66, this is where I have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon from the year 2000, directed by Ang Lee, starring Michelle Yeoh. Love Michelle Yeoh with all of my heart, and this movie is utterly fantastic, man. It's another one of my favorites. Great martial arts movie. Kind of harkens back to this golden age of Hong Kong action films where like they're performing the wire stunts where they're like running through air. Like you can see like you're like, well, these people are obviously on wires, but this is fucking cool.
Goddamn, it looks so sick.
They like run through trees, like tree branches. You know, they're like jumping from one to the other, and it's like this is fucking awesome.
Just with
Michelle
enough
Yeoh's
training,
badass. Delivers one of my favorite performances of hers ever. There's an epic romance in this movie. It's kind of just an epic tale of it's just so grand, you know. And Michelle Yeoh is the shit in it.
That's all you had to say for me was Michelle Yeoh.
Oh no, and Ang Lee, the director of Hulk 2003, Brokeback Mountain, Life of Pi. He's done some good shit. This is my only Ang Lee movie on the list, though. Love me some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Definitely my favorite of his catalog. And amongst my favorites of Michelle Yeoh's. I think this is top 2 where she's the lead. Probably top 3 that she's in peripherally, you know. Like I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and she has a very tiny role in that, but she's in it.
Well, you are 4 for 4. This episode is for movies that I'm bolding, just for my own personal sake, for me to watch.
Pretty much any movie here on in that if you have not seen it, you'll want to see it. Like it's just a incredible list of movies I absolutely love. So yeah, I've got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon at my 66, and I mean I think it won the best foreign language film at the Oscars. I think it might have been even nominated for Best Picture. Like it's incredible. It's incredible. But two warriors in pursuit of a stolen sword and a notorious fugitive are led to an impetuous, physically skilled teenage nobleman's daughter who was at a crossroads in her life. That's the synopsis, and that's putting it quite simply. But
it's wow, it was nominated for a whole lot. It won cinematography, won best music and original score, and the best art direction and set decoration.
Oh, absolutely!
And best foreign language film.
I mean, you know, you love the dojo vibe that movies bring, and this is like 95% set in a dojo. So like,
gotta love that. Oh yeah.
You love
sucker
shit
for
like
a
that.
dojo.
One of the cinematography, another nod it absolutely deserves. There's some beautiful imagery in this movie. Like, yeah, man, I can't recommend it highly enough. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, super cool. Also, kind of a coming of age film, which is cool. I love a coming of age movie. And I think this is one of my favorites here at 66.
Well, speaking of coming of age, I do have one of those coming up here, and it is my first Greta Gerwig movie here. This is where I have Lady Bird in 2017 actually. And again, I've only have seen it one time, just the one time that we covered it for the Ger Week. And I mean, it's crazy how fast, like, I just knew that these movies were going to be on my list after watching. I'd say Little Women was a little more instant. That one was like, holy shit, I did not expect this out of this movie at all. But yeah, Lady Bird was just a really cute coming of age story, and would pass the what's the test?
Bechdel.
Bechdel. Yeah, that it would pass that test. I'd say pretty comfortably. In this one, which is, you know, a thing I'm not necessarily actively searching for when I look for movies and stuff like that. But do you have it a lot higher up?
Yes, I'm actually looking. Rushmore and Bottle Rocket were the first movies you said that I had. Lady Bird is the first movie you've said that I will have.
I think, that's what the one that I assumed. Maybe one more as well that you will have later on. It will be
a few episodes away. I have all my Greta Gerwigs quite high. I fare quite nicely with the Gerwigs. Lady Bird though, that's a great one. That's a great one.
Yeah, I have the other ones will be in a little bit. From Greta, but like I like instantly fell in love with Barbie and Little Women after watching. I'm like, okay, yeah, those were just those movies were just kind of had a different feeling to them, in my opinion. And like in no way is Lady Bird a bad movie, like at all. It's and the only reason like it's this low in the 60s, and like another thing, I just have a lot of like some big classic movies
you love watching,
and I'm like, I really love watching. I can't knock
you for favorites here, especially if it's on the list at all. You know, like it's like
it made it. Yeah, that's for
exactly.
Sure.
Like it's amongst your favorite movies of all time, and that's I think it deserves that. You know, I'd be hard pressed to not include Lady Bird on the top 100, and it will not be my first Gerwig movie, and it will be in a few episodes.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, wow. I would not have expected that actually.
Yeah. No, it will not
Okay.
be my first
Oh,
Gerwig. And it'll be a few weeks away. It'll be
okay.
a little bit before
Wow.
we get there. But yeah, Lady Bird, man, Saoirse Ronan is fucking incredible. I love Timothy Chalamet.
Mm.
Like the more like I don't know why I felt like I was supposed to not like Timothy Chalamet, and I don't
Hmm.
really know why, but I fucking adore that dude. I think that he's going to be eventually he's going to be one of the best movies. Like he's probably the only movie star of our generation, as far as age wise, like in that age range. I would
Hmm.
guess there are
Yeah.
very few who got it like him right now, he was
Yeah,
born in
that's true.
1995, so he's not even 30 yet.
Hmm.
Saoirse Ronan, I can't imagine. Yeah, she's not 30 yet either. So like they're top of the game, as far
Hmm.
as they're concerned. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I love that movie. So it'll be a little bit before I get to
Mm.
drop my.
Definitely, Timothy's character in that movie could have been a little more likable. That's for sure. He didn't
Oh,
play the most
certainly.
likable character, but
That's
as
hella
far
tight.
as yeah, that's hella tight.
Every time
Yeah.
I say it, I never said that's hella tight, and now I say that's hella tight all the time because of that line read by Timothy Chalamet. I think it's
What was
hilarious.
tight that he responded to? Do you remember?
They
What?
they decorated the car with like "Just Married to Jesus" and it had all the cans,
That's yeah.
and they came up and they're like, "We just vandalized her car," and he just like looks at them, and he goes, "That's hella tight." I think it's so fucking funny, man. But yeah, it's not even my favorite Timothy Chalamet role. It's not even my favorite Saoirse
Mhm.
Ronan role. It's not even my favorite Greta Gerwig movie. Like
Yep. Nope.
there's so
Yeah.
much going for it, and the fact
Mhm.
that it's not even my favorite Greta Gerwig or my favorite from anybody in the movie is astonishing. Like it's
Mhm.
Laurie Metcalf absolutely deserved that supporting nod at the Oscars that year.
Mm.
And I mean the dad. Who doesn't love the dad? Larry.
Yeah. He's a
Good
G.
old Larry. He's a
Yeah.
good guy. That's just
Yeah.
a good man.
Getting her like at the dinner, like I forget who like sprung the news of like, oh yeah, did the application go through, whatever, like on the wait list. The dad just, oh fuck, or like whatever, like
Yeah.
when he made the realization that he has to like tell his
Oh,
wife about
fuck.
everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, oh man, yeah, great. I mean, yeah, upon rewatch, I'd say it'll climb. That's for sure.
Another underrated person in that movie, Beanie Feldstein. She's kind of having her moment.
Mm,
Some people just aren't built happy. Those
mm.
that chick. She was in
The prom
Booksmart.
night,
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh, that was so cute. Like, you already know I have a dress, like, or like, and then them going
I
out,
love
and
that movie. The first time they
yeah,
get high, all that.
oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
she's going to be in Drive Away Dolls. Actually,
mm,
I
okay.
wonder if that movie got postponed. It's saying that it's not coming out till 2024.
Mm,
Which would blow. I would hate that. I was so excited to see it.
dang. Yeah, it is saying 2024 for me as well. Yeah, February
Yeah,
23rd,
fuck.
2024.
They
Wow.
postponed it. I
Mm,
mean, that makes sense.
yeah,
But
with everything going on,
yeah,
it makes
that
sense.
sucks
But
though. I was so excited. Well, there's one more director spotlight that we were planning on doing that maybe we can do a little later now.
there we
Hey,
go.
look at
Yeah, man.
that.
Yeah,
Look at
everything
that.
works out. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything happens for a reason.
There
So,
you go. But
cool, cool.
yeah, love me some Lady Bird. That'll be
Hmm.
probably a good month away. But kind of
Okay.
absurd to think about a project in that
Yeah,
sense.
and
Like
that,
it's
yeah,
several
time wise.
weeks away.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. My 65. This is one that would probably be much higher if I rewatched it more recently. I absolutely adore this movie. This is Sorry to Bother You, 2018, directed by Boots Riley, starring Lakeith Stanfield and Tessa Thompson.
Hmm.
An absurdist movie. Just a wild film that has to be seen to like comprehend fully. There's a hilarity to it that's just out. I remember I went and saw a screening the first time I watched this was a screening when I was down at Mizzou in one of the halls. I can't remember which building it was in, but it was like, yeah, we're showing Sorry to Bother You tonight. Come through. I sat in the front row, looked at it on this screen, and was just like, fuck yes, this is amazing. It's bizarre. Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorite young actors working. I think he's incredible. And Tessa Thompson, one of my favorite actresses alive. There's so much to enjoy in this movie. And the premise is that Lakeith Stanfield's character, Cassius Green, starts to work at a company where he as he elevates, he works in like the lower tier of the company. It's very much so a class commentary, and they get abused the way that they're working. They don't get paid nearly enough, and they decide to unionize. But he scabs and he elevates in the company, and he starts to work with the big boys, and he's making a ton of money, but you know, Tessa Thompson, who's still connected with her roots, is like, hey man, you're fucking up, you know, like you can't be like this. He has something called his white voice that he gets taught by Danny Glover, where he gets on the phone and he starts striking up a white voice, and it's hilarious because it's quite literally him lip syncing over another man, a very clearly white man's voice.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think I remember seeing that in a trailer or something. Like
2018, maybe. It got some pub, you know, like it was getting boosted pretty much. But it's one that I might, after talking about it today, might watch tonight because just so it's so wild and so like Everything Everywhere All at Once has this absurdist element to it that's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, where did that come from, you know? And that's exactly what this movie kind of brings to the table. That's one of my favorite genres of movies, is just kind of that absurdist comedy that also has this level of seriousness that has something very real to say. And Sorry to Bother You, just you know, he gets on the phone, he's making a sale, he's like, hey, sorry to bother you, but you know, like, let's talk about this today. And so that's where the movie gets its name. And there's a clip online where it's him facing off with another dude, and you might have seen the clip where he's like, I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you have a terrific month. And like they're going back and forth. And it sounds like they're angry with each other, but they're complimenting the shit. He's like, you smell good, bro. What the fuck is that? It's I hope your year is full of wonderful endeavors. Just an extremely funny movie, and Lakeith Stanfield, brilliant. Tessa Thompson is awesome.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson's in there, I guess. Voice in an elevator. Never mind, she's just a voice in an elevator.
That makes sense though. Now that you say that, Terry Crews is in it.
Forrest Whitaker, in there, I guess, as first Equisapian? I don't know what.
Equisapian.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that sounds way more right.
You will not. You will have no idea what that means until you watch the movie.
The white voice is Patton Oswalt. Is the white voice, which is pretty.
Well, he's Mr. The boss. Oh,
never mind.
The boss
Mr.
goes
Blank's white voice.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where they bleep out this man's name every time. They do Mr. Bleep. No idea why, but that's what they do.
David Cross.
Cross is Cash's white voice, and that makes a lot of sense. Danny Glover, Stephen Yeun, he's a great actor. Lily James is
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, this one seems like a lot of fun. Yeah, you're 5 for 5 so far. Yeah, that's.
I have one movie on the list that I think you've seen, and I have two movies on the list that I think you might have seen, but one that I know you have on your top 100.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Sorry to Bother You at 65. Fucking love that movie. Can't recommend it highly enough. So that marks the halfway point in this episode. Where we at now with the 64 here?
We are heading to another repeat here. And this is where I have Aliens, 1986, by James Cameron. And yeah, looking through the 52-year journey movies, this one was like, I mean, yeah, again, like you even said, is like, I've seen it one time for that project and that was it. But it was enough to be like, man, that was a really cool movie. And Sigourney Weaver just dominates that movie. Like, I don't know, it's just, she just takes over and it has the sci-fi and alien aspect to it, which is already a plus for me. But then also the story is just really, really good in its own right as well. And then just all the set pieces, the freaking power loader, the actual look of the alien, just the fight, the action that happens, just into the crew, like just the how all the guys admire her. They're just like, man, that's just one badass woman. Like, holy shit. Like, just immediately admiring her, I think is just really awesome. And like, for the time, like in 86, for Sigourney Weaver to have like this big of a, I don't know, just a female lead, like in a movie, was just really comforting to see in the 52-year journey. We didn't get a lot of that, at all, especially back then. So it was definitely a nice change of pace, for that project, and maybe would pass the Bechdel. Is that right?
Yeah.
I guess
I think it would. I don't think anybody talks about sex, but do two women talk to each other?
Little Newt and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
I get that, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's a funny metric to discuss film by, especially considering the Bechdel of the Bechdel test. The woman who created it kind of created it as a joke, and now it's been considered like a serious critique of film, which is.
It's kind of got a good point to it.
It certainly does. But that's the other thing, though, is that like if your conversations do center around if the movie is a romance movie,
true.
Like it's probably not going to pass the Bechdel test, but it doesn't make it any less good of a movie, Like
that's true.
Another flip side to it is like how many movies have dudes talking where it's not relating to a woman or sex, like the inverse of the Bechdel test. I wonder how many movies would pass that. Probably plenty, but there's almost certainly a conversation in a lot of movies about dudes where they're talking about having sex with a woman.
That's fair. Yeah.
Or a woman in general.
But yeah, I don't know. It is another repeat on the list. I think we're at Aliens, 3 now. Yes, I think
that would be the third: Rushmore, Bottle Rocket, and Aliens. And I will have Lady Bird, but I have not said Lady Bird yet. So. We got 3 so far that have been said twice, and I love Aliens, man. James Cameron, I think I said this whenever I said Aliens. Just a guy I don't give enough credit. I don't think got some good fucking movies, man. A great track record. Way of the Water was the first movie he'd made since Avatar, and Avatar was the first movie he'd made since Titanic.
Wait, that's the gap there?
That's the shit he's rocking with. Like the dude's track record is
he does
like the 80s and 90s. He was pretty active, Terminator, Aliens, T2, and then I think he did another Arnold film. Can't remember what it was called.
RoboCop. There's a RoboCop versus Terminator. I saw that just scrolling down.
Is there something called True Lies?
Yeah. Yeah, that's on there.
That's the Arnold movie I'm thinking of. I think True Lies was the last movie he did before Titanic, and then after Titanic he didn't do another thing till Avatar, and then after Avatar he didn't do anything till Way of the Water. So just kind of absurd, like the percentage he's firing at. Like I think he's made like 8 feature films technically, and like 3 of them have grossed over $1 billion, which is what the fuck,
Jesus.
What?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And
then 3 of the other ones, Aliens, Terminator, and Terminator 2, are like cult classic sci-fi, and not even cult classic. They're just sci-fi classics. Those are.
Did Rambo as well? Wow.
Did he direct that?
Oh, maybe that's the video game. Well, Rambo. I don't know. It's saying video game. Maybe it's not the. No. Just based on the video game. Yeah, I guess he. No, he didn't direct.
He did,
might have produced
the
it.
director stuff that he's done is Avatar, Titanic, Way of the
Okay.
Water, Terminator 2, Terminator, Aliens, True Lies, and The Abyss.
Yeah.
Piranha 2, The Spawning. That was his first feature.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he's got a very, very good track record. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
and
nine feature films that he
Yeah.
has directed. 3 of them have made over $1 billion. Another 3 are sci-fi classics, and then the other 3 are True Lies, The Abyss, and Piranha 2. So like,
Yeah. I'd say, now that I'm thinking about it, like Titanic didn't make my list, but man, it probably should. Yeah. Like,
stab me in the heart.
yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. It's just, it's been
Oh, okay.
quite some time. I don't even remember the last time. I was probably like in my teen years at like my aunt's house. Like, wow,
Yeah,
no,
I
like,
watched it for the first time in 10 years, very recently, and
Mm.
I had no doubt it's
That
not
movie
low.
is-
It's
yeah,
not low.
I gotta rewatch that one. Yeah, James Cameron, he knows what he's doing.
He does, man. He does.
He knows how to make a lot of
Basically
money
just finances deep sea exploration with making a $1 billion movie every once in a while.
Yeah,
He's just like, you know what? I need money to go do all the shit I actually want to do. So I'm going to make another great fucking movie. What an insane talent that man is. There's a story where on the set of Avatar, the way they like shoot bows, where they like draw backwards with their hand like flipped, whereas it's usually pulled back normally. They like pull with their forearm out. Where like he had like an archer expert on the set that was like, you can't practically pull that off in any effective way. And he was like, sure you fucking can. And James Cameron just like pulled back a shot from like 50 yards and fucking nailed a bullseye. Like, what an insane man, dude. The dude's nuts. Like,
okay.
I don't know,
idea.
like that story, I don't know how substantiated it
true.
is. He told it on like some interview, but like, I fucking
100%.
love it.
100% true. Gotta believe it.
Dude's nuts. Yeah. I love James Cameron. So, I love Aliens being here. I love me some Sigourney Weaver. And, it's a great fucking movie. Another one that I need to rewatch real fucking bad.
I know.
And
yeah.
I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know where I would watch that now or if it's available anywhere, but if it is, I'm gonna fucking find it.
Yeah, you Google Aliens and man, everything else pops up but the movie right now. But
shit.
It's on Hulu, I guess.
Okay.
Looks like it, and that's about it for free.
Yeah, streaming on Hulu. All right, I might shiggity check that out later. But I'm going with a pretty different movie from Aliens. This is another romance movie. Love me some romance. It's one of my favorite genres, and here at 64, I've got Richard Linklater's Before Sunrise, 1995, starring Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy.
I remember you telling me about this one.
Oh, yeah, man. The only reason it's this low again is because I watched it once, and it's been a few months since I watched it, and I'm fairly certain I'll talk about it and kind of regret having it this low. Just thinking about it at all is making me kind of go like, damn, I love that movie. When we talked about The French Dispatch, I was talking about how that movie like inspired me and made me want to write, and like how I love movies that make me want to do something creative like that. And this is one of those. This is one of those movies that makes me want to read. It makes me want to write. It makes me want to write poetry. Like it's just fucking beautiful. And it's a very simple walk and talk sort of film. The entire movie is spent with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, where they meet on a train, and then for the course of a day, they hang out around. I can't remember if it's Amsterdam. I want to say it's Amsterdam, but they're just walking around the streets of this city.
Vienna?
Oh, Vienna.
Is that
sounds more right.
Yeah, capital of Austria.
Austria.
Or is that?
Is
that right?
He's on his way
Austria.
to Vienna. but they get off the train in Vienna, and his flight departs to U.S. the next morning. So they have until before sunrise.
I see.
That's
Yeah, looking at the cast, it's just them two, and then everyone else is like wife on
they
train,
don't even have
husband on
names.
train,
Yeah.
guy on bridge, guy on bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it's
cool.
just them walking around the city, talking the entire movie, and the chemistry they have is fucking palpable. Like, it's astonishing that that's all this movie is, and to characterize them so succinctly. And this is the first of a trilogy where Before Sunrise is 9 years before sunset. So that's set 9 years later. And then I think 9 years after that is Before Midnight. So it's kind of showing them at these different stages in their life and how they evolve. And this is kind of my representative for the trilogy on this, on this one, because Before Sunrise and Before Sunset specifically, I actually have not had the pleasure of watching Before Midnight. But those two movies, man, are they fucking good. It's just a brilliant way to show how people evolve as they grow up, kind of. And to show them at this sort of naive early 20s. I think Ethan Hawke is playing a 21 or 22-year-old. I think they both are. Like, they're that age-ish. And then they're playing early 30s in the next one, and then early 40s in the one after that. So, like, just
Okay.
No,
I was just going to say, if a movie can just follow two people just talking, and that's pretty much all that happens, and it's
it's a beautiful romance, man. It's lovely. I love it.
It's a good sign.
Oh yeah, and they're, like I said, their chemistry is brilliant. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. I love Julie Delpy now, and I've always enjoyed Ethan Hawke, but this is, as far as romance movies are concerned, there are very few that I'd recommend before this. Like, this is one of my favorites. So
that's
Before
their
Sunrise,
job. They just went to work and fell in love, and then went back home and went on with their daily lives. It's
that's all that this is.
Insane to me every time just when I think about that. But yeah, I do remember you talking about that one. I don't know when it came up, but.
Probably just a few months back. It wasn't too long ago.
Just the concept of it was really cool, and it's just, I don't know, really impressive that it can just be two people walking around, and just, I don't know, romance movies are kind of, I don't know, I haven't really watched a whole lot of them, I guess.
They're good.
But yeah, that one I'll definitely have to check out. Okay, all right, this next one I'm kind of feel like it's wrong, but for me, I don't know. The movie just didn't. It's still up here. It's 63. It's a good movie. A lot of people love this movie, but I don't know why. You
don't love it on that level.
Yeah. And it was on the 52-year journey through film. Pretty sure. I think.
Okay.
It's 1975's Jaws.
Okay.
Which is down here. I don't know. Okay, it felt wrong to like put it this low, but as I'm like. Looking through every other movie, I don't know. Like I like it. Like I really enjoyed the watch, but like I think after the 52-year journey, I don't think I went back to revisit it.
I haven't either. No, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. I don't have Jaws much higher than this.
Okay. Makes me feel a little better now.
It won't be this episode. But now that you've said it, I think the only reason I had it as high as I did is because I kind of expected it to be even higher on yours. So I might mess with that.
Yeah, I mean, it is like, I'd say once you get out on the water and it's just the three of them on the boat, that's the part of the movie I really, really like. Like when it's just three of them out there and they're on that mission, like that. That's when the movie really ramps up, and I'm fully in. But I think it kind of takes a little bit to get there.
I see.
It's
about halfway through the movie that happens.
And I don't know. I mean, it is still really good. Like, I have it above Aliens. I liked it a little more than Aliens.
No, I mean, That's the thing, is that it's unquestionably good. You know, it's unquestionably good, but I'm in a similar spot where it doesn't resonate with me the way that it seems to resonate with a ton of people. And even so, it's still one of my favorite movies of all time. And this is one of those ones where it kind of comes to that, like, how you determine what your favorite movies of all time are. There are some that are just so good that you can't not include them. And this kind of falls more in that instead of I just love it that much. It is an objectively good fucking movie, directed by Steven Spielberg, scored by John Williams. It's got to be somewhere on the list, but if you don't love watching it, it doesn't need to be that high, you know?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I
feel like it's
I don't have it much higher.
Yeah, every kid, this is the first song they learned how to play on the piano. I don't know, just the dun, dun, I don't know, it's every, you know, it's the first thing I ever played on a piano, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like, it is undeniably good. Like, I mean, it is a great movie. It's just that I don't have really much desire to, like, watch it again and again. At the scary movie nights we had at, like, my uncle's house, this was like a cool down movie. If we like watch something that was like, oh fuck, like we're gonna have nightmares, like we can't sleep tonight, like we gotta just watch something that's a little bit scary, you know, not scary, but like a little bit thriller, but just something that we can all watch. And still my aunt that's over there, she screams at Jaws. She's actually like afraid of sharks, and like she hates the movie just because of that alone. But yeah, it's I mean, it's still a great movie, but yeah, I had it at 63 for me. Kind of on a classic run here that I have going on. Aliens, Jaws, and I got one more classic coming up.
I've got one more classic, I would say, as well. So like we got a few, you know, I got Citizen Kane, you got Jaws, we got kind of this give and take going where it's good movies, but yeah, Jaws, it's not this week, and but it's not much further ahead. Like we'll be there before long. Not this week. I'm confident I like it more than the ones I have left on this list. But I'm
looking at the IMDb, like Richard Dreyfuss's Hooper was pretty dang good.
He's fucking great, man. No, that's the thing, is that like it's a very enjoyable movie while you're watching it, but I don't think it's one that sticks with you much after. You know, I think when it comes to Spielberg, even it's certainly not my favorite Spielberg movie. I think that let's see, I recently I have it at 7 on my Spielberg ranking, which might be like blasphemous to people. Like I love me some Spielberg, but it's and that speaks volumes about Spielberg's filmography, I think, more than it does the quality of Jaws. Like, the dude's just made a ton of great movies. That's all that means.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, Jurassic Park, E.T., freaking Saving Private Ryan, Catch Me If You Can. I'm looking at it's just Ready Player One, Fableman. Yeah, he's got some goodies. Some goodies. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, Jaws, I don't know. This is where it fell for me. But yeah, at 63, yeah, it felt. I don't know.
I'm cool with that. I'm not one that's just like, you gotta respect Jaws, you know, like, nah, I mean, it's a good fucking movie and I enjoy watching it, but like I said, it's not much higher on my list. We don't have a super big gap here. But yeah, I like that at 63. It's a good fucking movie. Like we said, top 100. It's nothing but good movies, man. We love all this shit.
Yeah. No bad movies.
My 63 is a new one, 2023 film right here. Another romance movie. It was nice to put it right next to Before Sunrise, kind of like, all right, how do I compare it? And I think I like it a little bit more than Before Sunrise. This is 2023's Past Lives, directed by Celine Song, starring Greta Lee. I saw this movie on the big screen a couple months back. Yeah, might have been at the beginning of July, actually. But, I mean, just a moving film, dude. Just overwhelmingly emotional. The sort of pull-throughs that happen. Greta Lee is deserving of a Best Actress nomination with ease, I think. for this movie. I loved the relationships put on screen. She's she's the daughter of a couple immigrants who have migrated to the United States, and she grew up in or I can't remember if she migrated to the United States or if her parents did, but she grew up in New York. She like moved to New York, and she kind of lost touch with her roots. She falls in love with she has this partner in crime throughout her childhood before she moves away, who was in love with her, but she moves away, and then they lose touch, and then they get back in touch, but she's already married, and it's like, how does this movie progress from there? How does it deal with the right person, wrong time? And it's incredible. You know, I think it's one that I need to rewatch desperately because I had a horrendous theater experience with it. Like just no respect at all in a movie theater. It was astonishingly bad, but even so, with such a bad movie theater experience, the movie was still so good that it rose this high up. And I know that if I rewatched it in the comfort of lonesomeness with nobody else, or just with Emily, I'd enjoy it even more. This movie would probably find its way even higher on my 2023 ranking, and it would find its way even higher on this list. So, yeah, Greta Lee, fantastic. I love her. And I cannot wait to see what she does beyond this movie. Past Lives, man. I can't recommend it enough. When that's available digitally, I'm buying that shit digitally. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was looking to see if it was available anywhere yet. I don't.
September.
Yeah.
September.
Oh, okay.
I've looked into it. Like I looked into it every week for like a few weeks because I was like, when are they going to put this shit on digital?
Yeah, September.
And they finally
19th.
put a date recently.
Looking like the 19th. So we got a little bit to go, about a month away.
Out, but I cannot wait to watch it again. I'm so excited. Okay. But yeah, Past Lives, fucking great.
Okay, well, moving on. I said I had another classic here, and I'm bringing it back to 1985. And this is Back to the Future.
Yes.
Directed by Robert Zemeckis. Is that how to say this? Yeah, Robert Zemeckis.
I believe that's not your first Zemeckis movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it really? Let's see. I do have another one coming up. I do see. What would have been the other one?
Well, go ahead and proceed. I just can't remember. I can't remember which one it was, but oh man, I don't know. Back to the Future is just like, it's got so many things. The DeLorean is just so badass. Like Doc Brown is awesome. Like just Christopher Lloyd, playing him. We got him in Mandalorian, recently, not too long ago, which was okay. Thank you. Yes. But yeah, I got another Zemeckis coming up a little bit later that I saw. But I don't know, Marty McFly. That's just kind of a character that I always thought of as just like a really cool character. Like the even in college, my fraternity, there's kind of like a Greek week, a Greek week event at a nerd school. It's not all sports, so we have to do some other stuff that's not sports wise. There's like a little float competition. Just make a float, anything. It could be anything. All like the requirements is like you have to be able to actually get in the thing and ride it. Was like the only like kind of thing that you had to follow. And the year we were there, we decided to make the DeLorean, and I was chosen as Marty McFly, and I dressed up like him. And was riding around in the DeLorean. It was hot as hell in that thing. Oh my god, I was sweating bullets. But I don't know. It's just the flux capacity, like all the science in this movie, I feel like there's a crazy following for this movie. Like all the dates that were on the DeLorean, like whenever it came, like I don't know, it was I think 2019 or 20 something like that. Like it already happened. Like the date that they went to in the future, or like whatever. But again, it's a movie that I haven't seen in quite some time. I watched it in college whenever we were making The Float. We had like a night where we watched it and everything. But and again, like there's like the
the movies that follow it up, like I don't even think I've seen the like fully the other movies. But the first one in itself, I don't know, it's just a classic for me, and I'll always love this movie. And
I have not watched that movie in so freaking long. It's one that I need to get back around to. A classic that does not appear on my list. The 80s, was a decade that I spent a lot of time with when I was younger, because they were my dad's favorite movies when he was a kid. You know, The Breakfast Club, Back to the Future, The Goonies. These sorts of movies are all movies that I have indeed loved in the past, but I have not made my way back around to in a while. So, it almost certainly would have made my list had I rewatched it within the last decade, but I have not watched it in such a long time.
And again, like I haven't seen it in quite some time. Yeah, back in college, and probably, I don't know, wasn't really paying attention a whole lot to the movie anyways when we were watching it. But I remember every time I've watched it, I'm just like, oh, it's just so cool. Like just how it, like the flame tracks it. Like there's so many just cool, like iconic things from this movie, like the hoverboard that he rides whenever he gets into the future, and like the vision or the thoughts, like that they thought, like, yeah, this is for sure what 2020 or whatever the date will be. Yeah. This is for sure what we'll have by then. It's like hoverboards, you press a button and your food's ready. Then he has to deal with like, he doesn't know that it's his mom, and then he finds out it's his mom, or like what, like, I forget how that goes exactly.
Freudian shit there, huh?
Yeah. So, a little weird there, but no, just so many iconic things come from this movie, and I've always adored it. And one I'll definitely have to revisit again, because it has been quite some time since I've given it like a real good watch myself. But yeah, I love it. So yeah, that's where I landed for 62 for me. Back to the Future. On my ending my run of classic movies here.
I see. Yeah, I at 62, we got 3 movies left: 62, 61, and 60. This is the first of 2 musicals for the end of this episode. This is where I have Les Miserables, directed by Tom Hooper from 2012. Les Miserables, if you will.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's Les Miserables, but it stars Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe and Anne Hathaway and Amanda Seyfried and Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter and Eddie Redmayne, and just a really, really fantastic cast and a fantastic musical. You know, I love musicals. It's something I've got a real soft spot for, and this kind of exploration of the highs and lows of society amidst the French Revolution is really, really compelling and really moving. I love Hugh Jackman with all my heart, and him in the main role here as Jean Valjean is incredible casting. You know, a lot of people don't like Russell Crowe as Javert, but I fucking love Russell Crowe, and I was shocked to see how good he can sing. It's just not something I expect out of Russell Crowe.
Okay,
and he's got his registry, but within that register, he's good.
Is that Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, he's got a little role in this movie. He's married to Helena Bonham Carter, who's in the Harry Potter movies as one of the weirdos.
Yeah, he's kind of a weirdo kind of guy. I mean, all I know him is Borat. Like that's where I mainly know him from. So that's every time
he's good in this. He's very good in this. Sacha Baron Cohen. He's a talented guy. But yeah, just it's a classic musical based off a really old book, based off a really good play. Like it's just. It's kind of visually brilliant. It's something I never would have anticipated. Like it's one of those movies though, one of those musicals where, you know, when it comes to La La Land and Tick Tick Boom, you get like a breather where people are just talking and acting. This is songs, beginning to end. There's no respite. They are singing and performing the whole time. It's really cool because it's not ADR'd songs. They're not adding the songs in.
Ooh.
They are singing on set like the way people would talk, you know, like, but they're singing the
That's
lyrics
cool.
instead of
Yeah.
it being like all right, time for a number. Let's get the studio recorded version of the song and
Mhm.
put it over. No, like it is what they are performing on set. It makes
That's
it feel
cool.
a little bit more like a play, like it's really, really good. And
Yeah.
again, Hugh Jackman is brilliant. Anne Hathaway is fucking stellar. Another person who I didn't really know could sing, but can sing her ass off.
Yeah. Eddie Redmayne,
Redmayne,
maybe how
yeah.
to pronounce it. I know him just as Newt Scamander in all the new Harry Potter movies, the
Yes, yeah,
Fantastic Beasts movies. Yeah, that's
Fantastic
what they're
Beasts.
called. And for
Uh,
some reason, watching those movies, I'm like, he just seems like a musical kind of actor. Like, I don't know why, but that's like every time I watch, like, just
he's got the
he
theater
looks.
kid.
Yeah,
He's got the
yeah.
theater kid aesthetic, for
I guess.
sure.
Yeah, maybe
And,
that's what it is. Yeah.
he, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Eddie Redmayne. I think he's all right. He gets a lot of praise, and I mean, he's a good actor. Don't get me wrong, but he's got just the funniest singing voice in this movie. I think, like it's good. It's unquestionably good, but it's like really operatic. So it's like he's got this kind of like deep thing going on, and it kind of there's a funny. It's a funny mix of sounds of voices in this movie. But it's one of my favorite Hugh Jackman performances, period. I think this might be the highest Hugh Jackman movie I have. And I love Hugh Jackman to death, but just the way things shook out.
Oh yeah.
And this is one that I've only watched once. And again, if I'd rewatched it more recently, it would probably be much higher on my list. And that's just kind of how things go. But Les Mis, just a wonderful musical, and I can't wait to rewatch it. It's just beautiful songs. I love the like intermission, like the big middle of the musical song number, One More Day. Fucking gorgeous. Can't recommend it enough.
Okay. You gotta expand my musical horizons, because really it's only Tick Tick Boom and La La Land, and I guess Grease.
Grease counts,
But that's been quite
High
some
School
time.
Musical 1 through 3.
Oh,
You got
okay,
those?
fair enough. I do got those.
Kind of pretty much any animated movie from our childhood, The Little Mermaid.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I guess those are
technically musicals as well.
True. Okay, but I guess like this feels like a true musical here.
It's it is a musical for the sake of being a musical, not just we're going to perform some songs to advance some plot. Like the entire plot is songs.
The Greatest Showman, or is it just The Showman?
The Greatest Showman. That's also Hugh Jackman. P.T. Barnum.
I haven't seen that, but
I love that movie. It doesn't have a great reputation, but I absolutely adore it. It doesn't make my top 100, but I saw that in theaters. My 18th birthday, my parents were like, let's go to you want to go to the movie theater? Let's see whatever movie you want. And any movie. And I was like, you motherfuckers made a mistake, bro. We're going to see The Greatest Showman. Yes, but it was how I put them on to musicals, and they actually really enjoyed it. And they were surprised by how much they liked it. And I was like, I told y'all motherfuckers, Hugh Jackman's the shit. But yeah, love me some Hugh Jackman, and Les Mis, one of my favorites of his, if not my favorite of his. So
yeah, I thought that this was The Greatest Showman. I thought I was confusing it with, because like I knew Hugh Jackman was like the musical lead in some movie, and I thought that this was The Greatest Showman.
No, he's got a couple under his belt.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, what are we on now? 62 or 61?
Yeah, 61.
Kind of have like a Wes sandwich. In this episode a little bit. So I'm going back to Wes, and this is where I have 2001's The Royal Tenenbaums from Wes here. So my third Wes movie, above Bottle Rocket and Rushmore. And again, I think it is one of the only ones I have seen one time, but probably just because of it is one of the hardest ones to watch and get through a certain scene. But I mean, like all before that, like Gene Hackman, like I remember like the little twin, or maybe they're not twin boys, but just like the two little young brothers that are like going around, and he's like sneaking around, like talking to him and being like the cool grandpa or whatever to him and everything. And like just everything that this movie brings, like the cast is just awesome in this movie,
fuck
and it is one that I definitely do need to watch again. And I do think it would change, like knowing that it does happen. You know that
Yeah.
that scene does come up. I think would change the viewing experience a whole lot. Because on the first watch, it was just like, oh, okay,
yeah, that's good.
like
That shit's
wow,
jarring. Yeah.
the change up they did there, but I don't know. I love Gene Hackman. Like in this one, I think he's really funny, and Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, all the siblings, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ben Stiller. I think they do a phenomenal job as well. And yeah, it's just I'd say like I had like these West movies are pretty close for me. But then as we go on, they get a lot more spread out for me, and they don't really have like any. They're not packed in like this one. This episode, I have 4 West movies in this one episode. But then it will be probably 1 or none West movies for the rest of the episodes. Maybe 2 towards the end, I guess. But yeah, that's where I'm landing for 61 actually. Again,
Love it.
Royal Tenenbaums. Yeah.
All right. I'm interested to see what the last one to round this episode out is. See if we have the same bottom 4 or if we don't. But I'll be excited to find out. But my 61, this is one that I've got. I enjoy a great deal. And I think is one you'll have on your list. So I have it a bit lower than you will.
Okay.
This is the one that I think you will have, and I'm pretty sure I know you have. Knives Out, 2019, directed by Rian Johnson.
Indeed.
Yes, I enjoy Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc way too much to have not included him on this in some capacity. I also adore Glass Onion, but I'm going to go ahead and put this in as kind of the representative.
That's kind of what I did. I did as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the representative for Rian Johnson's Knives Out franchise. I fucking love that first movie. Chris Evans and Ana de Armas as Ransom and Marta kind of being the de facto leads besides Benoit Blanc. Another Lakeith Stanfield, second Lakeith Stanfield for me in this episode, as he's the cop who kind of helps Benoit Blanc along. Michael Shannon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, Toni Collette, just an insane cast of characters there. I mean, Christopher Plummer as Harlan Thrombey. Is the movie I could just watch into oblivion. I could watch this over and over and over and over and never get tired of it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the first viewing is special because you have no idea what's coming. But then like the second time you watch it, you're trying to catch all the little things you missed the first time you watched, and like knowing where the story. I don't know. I think Glass Onion maybe is more like that. Like on the rewatch, you catch all the things that happen at the party and stuff like that. But
Rian Johnson is just such a talented director, man. Like I fucking love his work. I love his movies, and this. I think that him creating Benoit Blanc is kind of the first character in a while we've had that's like, you know, Steven Spielberg's Indiana Jones or
like a Bond. Sort of, he's like a James like a Bond. I don't know. Yeah,
Ethan Hunt. Like he's just a different. It's Benoit Blanc. He's the new Sherlock Holmes of sorts. You know, like I love that shit. It's been a while since I feel like we've gotten this original character that feels like it could go on for as long as possible. You know,
keep making those movies.
Feels like it could be a mantle even that eventually is passed on to a different actor one day. That's like, and now this is Benoit Blanc now, and this is Benoit Blanc now. You know, like it feels like it has those sorts of legs where it could become a Bond of sorts in that capacity.
Wow, actually,
I'd be astonished to see that happen anytime soon. Because Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc is masterful, but
I guess 2019 to 2022, you know, was from Knives Out and then Glass Onion. Yeah, I thought I didn't have Glass Onion on my list. I actually do.
Both.
I did put them both on there. Actually, I don't know, just really fun movies. But
they are, man. And like the second one, I think what's crazy is I love the aesthetics and the visuals of the first one more than I do the second one, but I do think I like the cast of the second one more than I like the cast of the first one. Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Ed Norton, like
Mhm.
you're getting some bangers. And Kate Hudson, I should say, is who that is. Like, just fucking brilliant cast, and I'm a sucker for it, man. I love Leslie Odom Jr. So him being in Glass Onion, another one of my musical boys. I love Leslie Odom Jr. He was in Hamilton, as Aaron Burr. So love that guy. But the Knives Out franchise is something that I look forward to long into the future. Love Rian Johnson as a filmmaker. Love Daniel Craig as an actor, and the fact that that's the core. Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig. Fuck yes, I'm in.
Keep it going.
You know?
Keep it going for as long as you can. I mean, that's the thing. They're the same franchise, but they're such different movies. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
They're incredibly unique.
You got this like autumnal fall vibe, and then this yellow flowery summer vibe. Like, I want everything in between. Give me the
winter, a cabin. Yeah, get like a nice winter cabin movie.
Knives Out movie. Let's do it.
Oh my god, yes, that'd be okay. All right, Ryan. Yeah. Rian Johnson, you know what to do. You know what to do. We need it.
You have the reins.
Yeah. I don't think they'll stop. I don't know. I mean, they were both successful, right? Like,
yes. Glass Onion was astonishingly successful for a Netflix original movie that they released in theaters for like 2 weeks. And it made like a bunch of money in those 2 weeks. And it was like, Netflix is just really, really dumb, for not keeping it in theaters or starting to do that more and more, because they'd make a ton of fucking money.
Man, yeah. And it was a weird, like, COVID time, right? Like, when it was released, or maybe just during filming, that it was maybe...
Filming happened throughout COVID, but it released at the end of 2022, so...
Okay. Yeah, so it would have been... All theaters were back open and everything, but... Yeah, I remember, like, in the movie, just like, all right, take it, or COVID done, or like, just the little things they gave him, like, yep, all right, we're good.
They acknowledged COVID quite a great deal in the movie. Yeah. Catherine Hahn, how could I forget Catherine Hahn? Love Catherine Hahn with all my fucking heart. But yeah, Knives Out, man. Wonderful franchise. Love Rian Johnson. Cannot wait for whatever that franchise holds in the future. So I got it above some bangers here, man. I got it above some good fuking movies. So it just shows you how much I enjoy them.
I got it up pretty, not too much higher, but I mean, I got both of them. They'll be in the same episode, actually, but I got them a little higher up. I don't know. I love the mystery movies. Like, mystery movies are
fun, man.
Are so much fun. But yeah, all right. Last one for me for the episode. It's my last Wes movie for this episode. I don't think it's the one you're thinking. We will not have the same bottom four.
I see.
And I think this one's probably a little higher up for you than it is me. This is where I have The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I knew this was probably going to come as a little hurtful there. And I don't know. I think it's like, as far as Wes's movie goes, like I am crying at the end of this one. Every time that I have watched it, I am crying. And it is really fun to go along with. But I think like his other movies, I think the craft of his other movies are better. Like, I think they're just better made movies. And like the closest one I have to this one is not until 40 that I have another Wes movie for me. So the gap is quite sizable there compared to like what I have been going off of. But yeah, I mean, it is incredibly fun. Like, Willem Dafoe, I remember like he was just always so fun, like making sure he had to bring the hat with him, taking it out, putting it on, like no one else is wearing it, but he's so serious about it. And again, it is like an adventurous, just really fun.
Great movie, man.
Really fun movie. But
I wonder if
it did just find its way kind of on the bottom-ish scale.
I see
West for
I
me.
see. I've got it more in that middle tier. You know, I'd say that I have like a top 4, a middle 3, and a bottom 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how it's like the top tier, the middle tier, the bottom tier, and all of them are awesome. But it's just like the way I group them in my head is kind of how that comes out.
I have that, but just basically switch Life Aquatic with Isle of Dogs for me and you. I feel like is kind of the switch that I have.
So you said Lady Bird and Life Aquatic in this episode. They will occur in the same episode for me as well.
Okay.
But much later on.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was another thing, like Greta's movies and Wes's movies. It was nice to kind of see where they fell with each other, and it was a nice I definitely like this one more than X or whatever, and
yeah,
it was a good way to rank them. But yeah, I had a little Wes sandwich here. I guess the Da Vinci Code was the first movie that I said, but then Rushmore and Bottle Rocket kind of at the bottom of the episode, and then Royal Tenenbaums and Life Aquatic.
We won't get another Wes movie out of me for few weeks, because that is the episode you will hear my next Wes movie, the Life Aquatic and the Lady Bird episode. I don't have one until then though.
Yeah, next week I won't have any, but then we'll get back into it at the very top of the 40s for me. But
got about a 40 spot gap between my Wes movies.
The top tier of his movies are really special.
Ooh,
like that. They're really special.
They're a different breed. But to top off my episode, Life Aquatic was a good one to stop for you. I love that movie, man. But I got another one that I think this is the other one that's like, oh, that's a classic. That is a certified one of the greats. And in this one, we're not in Kansas anymore, baby. The Wizard of Oz, 1939, directed by Victor Fleming.
39?
Garland. Yeah, 39.
39? Holy crap, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's an old fucking movie, man.
Wow.
A Technicolor dream, this one is. Wow. I mean, breathtakingly visual. Another musical. Love the musical stuff. There's only one song in the movie that I feel like just drags a little bit. And it's like as soon as she makes it into the land of the Oz, and all the little folks are around her singing their song, it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and never ends. And I'm kind of like, all right, I'm going to skip this.
Does it follow the Yellow Brick Road? Is that one? Is that?
I think it leads into that.
That's when
it leads into that.
Yeah.
But it's everything right before that. It just keeps dragging.
Man, this is a good one. Yeah, I don't have it on mine, but man, this is.
I love the Wizard of Oz. It's a movie that I hadn't seen in a really long time until I watched it relatively recently. It was a few months back, and I hadn't seen it in a good decade. And upon revisiting it, I was just kind of blown away by how groundbreaking it is for 1939. Like the craft of it is astonishing. There's this shot that gets a lot of love on film Twitter, that just knowing how it works as you're watching it is just amazing. There's the switch from the black and white sepia toned world into the colorful realm of the Wizard of Oz. And you can literally see in black and white, Dorothy open the door, exit frame, and then enter frame in color. And the way they did that was like a literal body double, open the door, and the set painted in black and white. And then goes through the door as Judy Garland's Dorothy.
That's sick. I thought you were going to say some like film splicing or something like that, but that's way cooler.
Entirely practical. They just painted the set black and white except for beyond the door, and opened it with a body double. And then
like the double in the, like, did they paint her face like a?
No, it's only the back of her head, but it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same tone as the rest of it, so it's like this brownish black and white. You know, like it's like got this dusty feel to it. So she exits frame when she opens the door, and then Judy Garland in color walks through the door, and it's
that's cool.
It's such a masterful piece of practical filmmaking that just I feel like it's been lost a little bit. You know, and this is one of those movies where the colors are just like, I have this book called Colors of Film, and it's just kind of like the evolution of how movies have been colored and what movies have, how they've improved and how they utilize color. And this is just one of those ones that's breathtaking for the time. 1939 to have these visuals was insane, you know.
I remember
just one of those examples where like the way color versus black and white film is utilized. Citizen Kane, 1941, entirely in black and white. It's 2 years later, you know. But like the way that it was kind of just like a choice. It was like, we want to make this one in color. It might be a little more expensive. Yeah, let's fucking do it. You know, like until we shot everything in color. And I adore this movie, and I'll never get tired of it.
Man, I remember seeing something that was like every movie that's ever been made post Wizard of Oz is like inspired either by the Wizard of Oz or one other movie, and I forget what it is. It might be Citizen Kane. I don't know. It might. I forget where I hear that, or where I heard that even in the first place. But I mean,
every movie owes a lot to Wizard of Oz, man. Since then, it's just like the matte paintings and the practical filmmaking. It's astonishing to look at, and the fact that it was pulled off in such a beautiful capacity at the time it was it's awesome. It's amazing. And
Guy Behind the Curtain. I remember like first watching that movie, like, and I like wasn't expecting it at all. You know, like I don't like the twist at the end. Like I don't know. I guess when I was young, I was just more like focused on like Tin Man and like the lion. I don't know if he had an actual. Yeah. Like that's what I was more focused on. Yeah. But then like, that's. Man, I forgot about Wizard of Oz. That's a
fucking great movie.
That is really good.
And 60s, you know, it's where I could only put it for now comfortably, but it's one of those ones where like all the movies here on in, if I watched it yesterday, it'd be much higher on the list than it is today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how every movie on this list from here on in is. Yeah, man, it's such a special one. So Wizard of Oz is how I am capping off this episode. And if you would, take me through your 60 through 69 one more time, please.
Right. Well, 60, I got The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. 61, The Royal Tenenbaums. 63, Back to the Future. 64, Jaws. 65, Aliens. 66, Lady Bird. Am I on? Yes. No, 65, Lady Bird. Sorry, I knew I was off on one number, because I knew Lady Bird was the midway. 66, Creed. 67, Bottle Rocket. 68, Rushmore. And 69, The Da Vinci Code.
At mine, I got 60, The Wizard of Oz. 61, Knives Out. 62, Les Miserables. 63, Past Lives. 64, Before Sunrise. 65, Sorry to Bother You. 66, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. 67, Yojimbo. 68, Citizen Kane. And 69, Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. And with that, we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. If you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloom-pod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review, and to continue downloading our episodes. We got part 5 coming next week. That'll be the 50s, and then we'll be officially into the top 50 the weeks after that. And it's heating up, as you heard. You know, we got some big ones this week: Citizen Kane, Wizard of Oz, Jaws, Back to the Future. Like these are big fucking movies, and they're only going to get bigger. And I'm so very happy with this project, and so happy that we're doing it, because it's just so fulfilling for me. I love talking about all the movies that I love. And all these movies would not exist without the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, the writers and the actors. Their work being put into this is it's astonishing. It's what stands out. It's what makes us love these movies, and they deserve to be compensated fairly for their work. So stand in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA and WGA. Return this Friday, where we're talking X-Men: The Last Stand, a truly standout movie for good or bad reasons. Depends on who you are. We're doing Winter is Blooming, our Game of Thrones rewatch. Season 5 kicked off earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Season 5, episode 2 is next week. Very excited to dig into that. But yeah, with that, I think we'll conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom podcast. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah.